Hello, my name is Joel Davis, and I want to welcome you to my Leadership 3.0 channel and introduce you to the Founders Leadership Operating System. This is a 74-page detailed operating system guide supported by a multi-episode video and podcast series that is targeting founders and senior leaders at startups or scale-ups on their way to $10 million, $25 million, $50 million, or $100 million in revenue. You know, most companies don't fail because of their product alone. They often fail because of their leadership operating system. And you've seen it before. Sales gets blamed, engineering builds cool things that don't sell or are not what the customers are asking for. Marketing claims victory by hitting metrics that don't matter. Leadership blames their people first, yet the problem is upstream at the strategy, structure, and systems layers. Slowly, over time, instead of looking in the mirror, the culture breaks. These problems and more are what the Founders Leadership Operating System is designed to prevent or fix. This isn't theory. This is a proven system based on the best and worst practices at 200-plus startups from dozens of successful operating executives. And in this series, you'll see exactly where your company is breaking and how to fix it. So over the next few minutes, let me give you a sneak peek of what's inside the Founders Leadership Operating System Guide and really what Leadership 3.0, what the 1% of great leaders do, and what it looks like. Culture is the operating system of the company. Culture governs behavior, decisions, accountability, and execution. Culture dictates what gets rewarded, tolerated, and ignored daily. Culture creates predictability in behavior even when no one is watching. So some questions for leaders are, what behaviors are you rewarding right now, intentionally or accidentally? If I watched your company for a week, what would I say your culture actually is? Where is your culture tolerating behavior that's quietly killing performance? Culture must be intentionally designed. If you don't architect culture early, it forms accidentally and becomes extremely difficult to change later. Undesigned culture defaults to politics, silos, and ego protections. So, founders either design culture or spend years fixing it later. Questions for leaders are, did you design your culture or did it just happen? What cultural problems are you already seeing that will be 10 times worse at scale? Do you understand how your strategy, structure, and systems might be the root cause of some of these perceived problems? Founders create culture through their own behavior, and it's a million little actions over a long period of time, not just what's on the website or slogans or posters. What are you tolerating right now that you shouldn't be? Where does your behavior contradict your values? If your team copied you exactly, would that be a good thing? And the reason I ask that is your team becomes you. Founder traits become organizational DNA. Founder self-awareness determines cultural health. Founder radical candor and owning mistakes is what the 1% of great leaders do. So questions for leaders are, what part of your personality is hurting your company? Where are your blind spots showing up on the team? If your culture is a mirror, what is it reflecting to you? And this is incredibly important because culture determines execution quality. High-trust cultures move faster than competitors, and in today's world, speed matters more than ever. So questions for leaders are, where is your execution slowing you down? And is culture the reason? Do your team solve problems or escalate blame? Is your culture accelerating execution or quietly blocking it? Now, another component of the guide is competitive advantage. We cover 7 of them in the guide. In addition to culture, you need these real competitive advantages, and they're typically validated by your customer in your product's business value proposition. Your business value proposition of your product must make a meaningful impact on the client's business. Otherwise, it will not make the cut line from either an IT budget allocation or an IT priority management perspective. Many technically sound products fit this description. Winning companies have durable, quantifiable business impact and defensible competitive advantage all wrapped up with a supportive culture. So questions for leaders are, why will your company still win in 3 years? What part of your advantage can your competitors copy tomorrow, and what would happen if they did? And what is your company's flywheel of competitive advantage? How is it creating positive organic growth? Now that you understand culture and competitive advantage, how do you align everything? Well, alignment requires a single North Star metric. All teams or departments, KPIs, compensation plans, and decisions must connect to one shared goal to eliminate silos and politics. Without a North Star, teams can be left to their own devices, and they'll optimize for local wins, not company success. Alignment around a North Star removes all the kinds of politics and personalities that go on in a company. What is the one metric your entire company is aligned to, and could the people on the front lines tell you what it is? What metrics or compensation plans are creating conflict instead of alignment? If teams win individually, but the company loses, why? How is that happening? And the reason I bring this up is elite startups and scale-ups recognize that revenue is a system output. Everyone owns the revenue number. Revenue is not produced just by sales alone. It's the result of the entire company working together as a coordinated system. Product, engineering, marketing, sales, customer success, solution engineers, support, finance, HR, or people and culture. Every department impacts sales and customer experience. If revenue is missed, it's rarely one function that causes it. It is usually a system breakdown. This really requires a cultural shift. It's a shift from sales owns revenue to revenue is the company's output and everyone owns the revenue numbers. Are you ready for that shift? In addition to having a North Star metric and this cultural shift of everyone owning the number, you also need to make sure there's equal accountability across every department. Equal accountability across every department is essential, and it's got to be reinforced through compensation plan design. In the guide, we detail how to implement a 50-50 accountability framework for departments that are not customer-facing. Teams will own what they can control, and they have clear quarterly execution targets. Why is this important? Most performance problems are system failures, not people failures. When results are poor, the root cause is usually not talent, it's the system that leadership designed. If outcomes fail, the breakdown is typically in the 3 S's, strategy, structure, and systems, not the people. So first, look in the mirror. And we cover the right leadership response that the 1% do, and what the wrong leadership response that far too many do in the guide. The Founders Leadership Operating System is your blueprint for success based on the experience of dozens of successful operating executives across 200+ startups. So here's your question. Are you going to join the 1% club of elite leaders building incredibly successful companies that scale, transform markets, and change the industry? Or will you create a company that ends up being one of the failure statistics a few years down the road? Download the full guide, because the longer you wait to fix the system, the harder and more expensive it becomes. One team, one goal. Let's do this together. Watch the videos or listen to the podcast, and I'll see you on episode 1.